I'm back once again, which means it must be time for another spoiler movie review. And this time we are going for a film which is, admittedly, not aimed at me. So therefore, I'm probably, well, I know I'm not their target audience, so they probably don't care whether I like it or not. Well, nobody cares whether I like it or not. Let's be honest, M. Night Shyamalan is not crying himself to sleep on his piles of money after I slated Glass in my last review, is he? But anyway, I digress. This time we are talking Toy Story 4. When this film was announced, my initial reaction was, why? Because let's be honest, do we really need a Toy Story 4? All the way back in 1995, we had Toy Story 1. So 95, what does that make? That makes that almost 25 years old, that film, next year, which is mental. And, of course, if you haven't seen Toy Story, then it's about toys coming to life when humans aren't looking and their adventures. But I'm sure you've all seen Toy Story. Then in 99, we had Toy Story 2. And then a few years after that, we had Toy Story 3. Now, if you've seen all three of those, and you've seen Toy Story 3 more importantly, that pretty much closes off what would be a perfect animated movie trilogy. When Andy goes, spoilers here for Toy Story 3 as well, by the way, when Andy goes off to college and he leaves all his toys with new girl Bonnie. So Woody has come to terms with it, and he is now going to be with Bonnie. And she's his new owner, and it seems like it's just a perfect way to finish that trilogy. You had Woody, he was the leader, and in the first one Buzz came in and it was their rocky relationship, but they got strong there. Then Woody obviously was the primary focus of Toy Story 2, and that introduced Jessie and Bullseye, and the Prospector, was it? I think was the villain in that one. And you had Woody as a collectible toy, and he was separated from the rest, and he got back with them. And then in Toy Story 3 you had Lotso trying to kill him, and then they end up with Bonnie, like I say. So it's a perfect end to a perfect trilogy. But no, this is Disney we're talking about, and they gotta make some dollar, which means it's time for another Toy Story film. And in this one, I'm going to get right off the bat, I'm going to say, if Buzz Lightyear is your favourite Toy Story character, you're not going to be happy. If Jessie is your favourite Toy Story character, you're not going to be happy. If Slinky, Rex, the Potato Heads, any of the old school toys are your favourite character, you're not going to be happy. Because this film is basically all about Woody. And so what happens is Bonnie goes to kindergarten and she creates a new toy out of a spork, which is a spoon and a fork combined, just for those of you who didn't know. And she calls him Forky. But Forky is very confused and just thinks he should be in the trash, so he keeps trying to throw himself in the bin. Woody has to keep getting him out of the bin and blah blah blah. And right off the bat with this, now in the first 3 Toy Story movies, it was all about the toys having to get stuff done while not being seen by humans, and they were very covert and very clever about the ways in which they didn't get caught. In this one, it's just ridiculous. It's the toys almost just don't give a flying rat's ass about whether they get caught or not. Some of the stuff they do, right, there's absolutely no way that nobody would see what's going on with these toys in this movie. There's just no secretiveness, is that even a word? It is now, to it. Secrecy, that's what I'm looking for to it. There's no sort of slyness about it. It's just right in your face. It's like, we're toys and we're moving around and we're doing this stuff and you can't see us because you're all stupid human beings. So, long story short, it's the Woody and Forky show. The villain in this one is cool. Oh, what's her name? I can't remember. Gabby, I want to say. Is it Gabby? Anyway, she's not really a villain. She's just misunderstood. She's got some henchmen that look like Slappy from, what's that film called? Goosebumps. And the long and the short of it is Bo Peep is back in this film. Obviously, she hasn't been seen since Toy Story 2. And we get, at the beginning of the film, a flashback to 9 years prior to the events of Toy Story 4, where we see that Bo Peep was taken away, and, you know, that was the end of her and Woody's relationship. He reconnects with her in this film. She's a lost toy. There's these lost toys that live in like this playground and stuff, which just so happens coincidentally to be in the same town that Woody finds himself with Forky and Bonnie and her family. And it's basically the Woody and Bonnie show. Not the Woody and Bonnie show, the Woody and Bo Peep show. And everything else is sort of just takes a back seat, including Forky. And in the end, we're just going to cut right to the end. Woody decides he's leaving the rest of the toys behind, and he is going to stay as a lost toy with Bo Peep. And they have a sort of sad, sorrowful ending where they all split up. And you think to yourself, is this really the end? Because let's be honest, this film should not have been made. But is this really going to be the end? No, of course it isn't. There will be a Toy Story 5, The Adventures of Forky. And Woody may even just play a small bit part in that. Who knows? I don't know what Tom Hanks' contract is like. So Toy Story 4 is, I mean, as a film, it's okay. It's not great. It's not the worst thing in the world. But it's just meh. When you compare it to the original 3 Toy Story movies and the fact that they are the perfect trilogy, you're just like, this was just so not needed. It's so blatantly obvious. It's just a huge cash grab to create all these new characters. And maybe it's a bit like the MCU, I suppose, which is ironic because that's owned by Disney as well, where they're creating new characters, Captain Marvel, Black Panther, blah, 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 who are going to take over from the old ones. So maybe Forky will be the primary focus moving forwards, but God help us if he is. What I will say, however, in defence of Toy Story 4, is I took my 4-year-old son, who is obviously very much the target audience for this film, and he bloody loved it. He was laughing along at all the right times. He was laughing his little head off every time Forky came on, and Forky is his new character. So Disney Pixar, job done there, because he is bound to want to go and get a Forky toy when we visit Disney World in a couple of weeks' time. That's right. I'm going to America. Don't quite know why I'm going to America, but I'm going to America nonetheless. Not that that's got anything to do with this review, but he will definitely want a Forky, and there will be at least one, if not multiple, Forky products in this house off the back of Toy Story 4. He already wants to go and watch it again, but... So if I was giving it a score, I mean, let's be honest, it's going to make millions and millions. It's going to make dollar. And, you know, it's going to be considered a financial success, even though it kind of just sucks a little bit. And even going back to 95, what was that? That was like 19 years ago. Was that 19 years ago? 95, 2005, 2000? No, that was 24 years ago. 24 years ago, I would have been 18 years old. So I was probably a bit old for Toy Story anyway, but I can still appreciate it. And Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3 for the great movies they are. Toy Story 4, it's just... By all means, go out and watch it. Make up your own minds. I'd certainly recommend going to watch it over glass, because glass was rubbish. And your kids will love it. And it'll cost you a fortune in Disney, Pixar, Toy Story 4 merchandise, be it pop figures or bags or pencil cases or plushes or whatever. But it was just felt like an act of futility and not really worthwhile. But again, it's going to make money, so what do I know? In fact, we'll probably even have a spin-off now, won't we, where it'll be Woody and Bo Peep, The Adventures of Woody and Bo. I don't know what that'll be about, but if you want to know any of the new characters, by the way, before you watch this film, just go into any toy shop and you will see them all lined up all along the shelves. So let's get to the score for Toy Story 4, shall we? I'm going to score it 7.5 out of 10, which is high, but not too high. I just felt like it was completely unnecessary when I went in. I watched it, and it didn't change my mind. So please, 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 don't make any more Toy Story films. And until next time, keep it geek.